Hi, it's the Tiny One slash Bishie, and this is my movie review of the movie Coco. Now, please keep in mind that I am going to be talking about the whole movie, including spoilers. This movie came out in 2017, and if you haven't seen it yet, I would suggest that you pause this video or put this video on your saved movies or saved videos for a time. Go watch it. It's currently on Netflix. And then come back to watch this video if you don't want to see spoilers. If you don't mind spoilers, then continue watching. I'm going to be reading from the wiki. Coco is a 2017 American 3D computer animated fantasy film produced by Pixar Animation Studios and released by Walt Disney Pictures. Based on the original idea by Lee Unkrich, have the name somewhere, and it's directed by him and co-directed by Adrian Molina. The film's voice cast stars are Anthony Gonzalez, Gael Garcia Bernal, Benjamin Bratt, Alana Ubach. Sorry, some of these names I've never heard before, so I'm having a hard time trying to pronounce them. Plus, a lot of them are Spanish, Mexican, Hispanic type of names. Renee Victor, Ana Ofelia Murguia, I'm so sorry, and Edward James Olmos. The story follows. Now, here's the thing. When I originally saw the title, I thought that the main character, the little boy, was named Coco. I didn't realize that Coco was actually the name of his great-grandma. I think it is. Yeah, great-grandma. And in reality, the little boy's name is Miguel. And it's an interesting story. It's where something happens to his great-great-grandma, and unfortunately she thinks that her husband abandoned her. And there was letters at first, but then all communication stopped, and so she was so upset because he ran off to be a musician, but didn't return, and so she thought that he was the most horrible person in the world. She forbade music to her family, and it continued. Of course, now she had a daughter that she had to provide for, which is the great-grandma. And so she became a shoemaker. And so she taught her daughter to make shoes, and so on. And Miguel's family and ancestors were shoemakers. And the story takes place on the day before, and the day before, the day of, and the day after what is known as Dios de los Muertos, which is translated into the Day of the Dead. Now, you have little Miguel, who he kind of wants to break tradition, and he loves music. He goes into the main city, and he listens to the mariachi players, and he just loves the music. He has a guitar that he plays in secret, so he doesn't disrespect the wishes of his family. And I feel kind of bad for him because, like him, I really love music. I I love listening to music. I love music around me. And so I can imagine what he's going through, not being able to have music around like it's happening. And by the time, first we have, the movie starts out with the great-great-grandma, and then it fast forwards to with Miguel's time, and then we have the so confusing. We have and I keep glancing over here to jog my memory. We've got the great-grandmother, who by now she's elderly, she's losing her memory, she's in a wheelchair, she isn't really talking that much. And so Miguel sees her as someone that he can confide in, and he tells her how frustrating it is, how much he wants to play. And he has this idol that he later believes is his great-great-grandfather. And he idolizes this one singer, this great, big, huge singer, Ernesto de la Cruz. He thinks that Ernesto is his great-great-grandfather. And, of course, because this person is so famous and has all these musical talents and movie talents and all that, they built a big, huge mausoleum for him. And his prized guitar is hanging in the mausoleum. And so Miguel believes that he can be in touch with the spirits if he steals his guitar. And when he strums the guitar, he's transported to the land of the dead, which kind of don't understand, but that's what happens in the movie. And in the movie, it's really interesting how they portray the bridge that bridges the land of the dead with the land of the living, and how on Dios de los Muertos, the dead travel across this bridge to be with their family, and even though their family can't see them, they're literally in spirit with their family. And I think it's really beautiful, really sweet how they portray this. And I know this is a movie for kids, so they're trying not to make it too scary. They're trying to put some comic relief on the movie, and I kind of do like how they do this. And I especially like how Disney got together with Pixar to work on this movie together. And of course, there's scenes where he sees his ancestors and he gets to know who they are. And the main thing for him to get back to the land of the living, he has to have a blessing from his ancestors. But his main ancestor, his great-great-grandmother, remember, she's the one that's against music. And at first, when she's going to give her blessing, she forbids him from anything musical. And that just crushes him, so he, of course, runs away. And he doesn't want anything to do with her. And before this, he tried to get blessings from the other ancestors, and they're like, no, because they don't want to get on her bad side, they don't want to anger her, and so it's a thing. He ends up coming across this one fella who, at first, I thought was really, really sketchy and really like, don't trust him. And I think that's what he was meant for, but this is a guy you later find out is great-great-grandfather. And then you find out, it threw me for a loop, the fact, it wasn't until it started to come together that I kind of got the fact that, who he thought was his great-great-grandfather really wasn't, and that it was just shocking how this guy, Ernesto, just turns on him. And really you see the villainous side to him. And you see, oh yeah, he really did. You know, the guy that you thought was sketchy at first finds it. You come to find out, oh my God, that really is Miguel's great-great-grandfather, and that he was poisoned by Ernesto, and Ernesto stole his guitar, his music, all that, and that's why he never got back to his family, and his family thought that he had abandoned them. And later, it's so sad and it's so heartbreaking, because you find out that the great-grandmother kept all of her father's letters, and then the letters stopped coming. And so the great-great-grandmother, in rage, she tore off the head of the great-great-grandfather in the photo. Because part of Dia de los Muertos is Mexican and Hispanic families, not so much nowadays, but a lot of them, if they hold to the old traditions, will have a shrine of their ancestors up. And it's shrine with candles. Closer to Dia de los Muertos, they have food as offerings, money, that sort of stuff. And if nobody has a photo of you up on their shrine, you can't, on Dia de los Muertos, you can't travel to land of the living, because nobody is there to welcome you. Nobody, with the offerings. No one is there to remember you. And it's sad, because at one point you see a guy who is forgotten about by his family, and he just fades away to nothing. And it was so heartbreaking to see. And then you realize that that Miguel's actual great-great-grandfather is being forgotten about by his great-grandmother, which is the great-great-grandfather's daughter, because she's growing old, she's growing close to death. And you find out that the great-granddaughter, I'm sorry, this is so confusing. The great-grandmother kept the photo, the head, and so when they finally put the photo together, you see who it actually is, and they put him on the shrine so that, one, he's remembered, and two, he can go to the land of the living the following year. He doesn't make it that year, but he makes it the following year. And it's such a well put together movie, and I do like the scenes that they're singing make sense. I know there are some Disney movies where they just randomly burst in a song, but the songs in this movie at the time that they happen make sense. And of course you've got the young kid rebellion, the smart light tantrum, the running away. It's typical. It's supposed to be a kid's movie, but it comes with a wrapping up, and it all comes together nicely and very well put together in the end. And I really do like this, and I do appreciate it. Honestly, I never really understood when other people, other cultures would say, I do like a movie that having representation in a movie was never a concept I got, mainly because Hispanics, Mexicans, were normally, South Americans, that sort of, they were usually portrayed as rapists, gang members, drug dealers, in prison, hard life. And I know you guys have seen it, but they seem to have the same actors in almost every TV role and in almost every movie that has this stereotype. And I was getting really sick of this. And so Coco was a breath of fresh air that we're finally getting some positive representation, and it's honestly, I teared up, especially toward the end of the movie, because it's so beautiful, and we finally, us Hispanics, us Mexicans, finally have a movie that properly represents us in a good light. So yeah, I really like this movie. I really do recommend it. Like I said, it's on Netflix right now. If you've seen it, go watch it again, If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Anyways, that's all for this review. If you have any other suggestions, put them in the comments below. I would love to see your suggestions and let me know where I can watch it, like Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, that sort of thing. Anyways, that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay happy, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.